We are back with our not our final, I should say, but the final video of my Giants franchise that I will actually be talking in. I have some montages, like I said, at the end of the Super Bowl video that I'm going to come out with, but I wanted to get this video out first before I go to the montages, so I got 3 montages going on. They're all done, edited, and ready to go. I just wanted to get this out first. I chose the 3 best players, I think, from offense and defense, and just showed their best highlights. Obviously, offense is super easy. I chose Daniel Jones, Slayton, and Saquon, just best plays of their. It's really hard going through every single game and trying to find their best plays. So I might have missed some things. I might have probably missed a lot, but I tried my best with the time I had. And so those 3 are the offensive players I chose. The defensive players I chose were DeAndre Baker, Jabril Peppers, and I could have went a lot of ways with the third one. I could have went with a lineman, maybe Lorenzo I could have done a lot of things with it, but I chose to go with Ben Ham. I just think Ben Ham was like such a staple of our defense once we drafted him. We never had to worry about middle linebacker, and he just did his thing, sat in the middle and just did his thing. So I chose those 3 as the one that I made the montages about. And I wanted to go through some career stats. I couldn't go through every single person because that would have been absurd. But I did go through some important players along the way. And I wanted to show you guys just the career stats of us playing with them. So first things first, we're starting off with Daniel "Goat" Jones. In his time with us in his 6 seasons, he had 29,000. Okay, and before I start, my numbers might be slightly off, so it depends if I made an error calculating and all that. I'm pretty sure they're pretty accurate though. But his passing yards, he had 29,367 passing yards in 6 seasons. He went 1,796 for 2,820. So that is a 64% completion percentage, which isn't really that bad. It started off, first couple seasons were a little rough with him, and QBR of 117.38. So pretty good QBR. I'll take that. I will take that. Touchdowns, I threw 286 passing touchdowns. I threw 127 interceptions. Would love to get that number down next year for whatever quarterback I'm using. One thing I did forgot to get for Daniel Jones is fumbles. He fumbled a shitload. I probably led the league in fumbles throughout 6 seasons with him, but I forgot to get that, so I don't have that number. I do have his rushing yards. Daniel Jones ran the ball 352 times for 2,039 yards. I didn't realize it was that high. I ran for the ball. Daniel Jones got 2,039 rushing yards, which was crazy when I saw that, which is an average of 5.8 per carry. I did not think I had over 2,000 rushing yards with Goat Jones, but apparently I did. And I had 14 rushing touchdowns with him. And a couple of awards we got for Goat Jones. He had 3 league MVPs, won the MVP, 3 times, 4 Pro Bowls, got a Super Bowl ring. Obviously, everyone on my team got a Super Bowl ring, but I'll put that under Goat Jones. He's the quarterback. And I did break an NFL record. Oops, I went the wrong way. Let's go here. Where was it? Go season. Passing touchdowns. So in 2021 I broke it, got 57, and then tied my same record in 2023, got 57. 2024 this season got 55. I mean, I'm up here quite a bit. Daniel "Goat" Jones doing his thing. Next on the list we have Saquon Barkley. One thing I did forget to get, which in hindsight I probably should have got his stats, is Gallman. Gallman was there the whole season with us. Saquon, his numbers are a little bit skewed because of his injuries. He's injured pretty much every season, and it sucks, but he really is injured a lot. I mean, this last season that I won the Super Bowl in, he got injured twice, went out for like 4 games, and then went out for like 6 games or something like that. So I wish I would have got Gallman's stats just to see how much stuff he accumulated over the season, but I totally spaced on that, so I don't have that for you. But for Saquon, he ran the ball 1,353 times and got 8,041 rushing yards. That's an average of around 6 yards per carry. He scored 65 rushing touchdowns, fumbled the ball only 12 times, so on 1,300 attempts, fumbled 12 times, which is pretty damn good if you ask me. And he broke 78 tackles. Through the air, he had 283 receptions, 3,041 receiving yards, and 10 receiving touchdowns. So Saquon doing his thing. I'm pretty sure he broke a Super Bowl record for, it's got to be rushing touchdowns or rushing yards, because the dude had an amazing Super Bowl. I mean, you see what he can do when he's healthy. The problem with him this whole entire series was he just got hurt. He got hurt so much, and luckily we had a decent backup that could fill the role every time he went out. But if Saquon didn't get out, I mean, his year 2, I don't think he got hurt at all year 2. I think he got hurt in the no, I didn't make the playoffs year 2. I don't think he got hurt at all year 2, and he got 2,800 rushing yards and got the rushing title that year. So, I mean, a fourth of his rushing yards came in one season. So that just shows how much of a dominant force he could be if he never, had all these injury problems. He would have been a monster. He would have been an absolute monster. Next up on the offensive side, we have the GOAT, Darius Slayton. 451 receptions for 10,739 yards. Just insane. He scored 136 receiving touchdowns. That's an average of 23.8 yards per catch. So he's just, getting long plays after long plays. Dude's a freaking monster. He broke a couple records as well. So we'll go ahead and go to the stats. My quarterback and wide receiver were the only ones that would break NFL records here. We got in a game, pass or receiving touchdowns. He holds that record in 2024 this year. He had 6 touchdowns. If you remember that 6 touchdown game he had, just being a freak. And he also broke the touchdowns record in a season, I think 3 times, I believe. Receiving touchdowns, yeah, he broke it 3 times. So in 2022, he got 27, and then in 2023, tied it at 27, and then this year, he drops 31. I mean, talk about one of the best receivers in this league, if not the best. The dude's crazy. He's always scoring touchdowns, getting open. That's a shitload of touchdowns, man. 31, 27, and 27. Just an animal. Just an absolute animal. And the last player on offense that we have stats for is Andy Graves in his 2 years here with us. He had 126 receptions for 2,232 yards and got 18 receiving touchdowns. That's an average of 17.7 per catch. I could have done a couple other people. I mean, I could have done Evan Ingram maybe for his time here, but I decided not to. I decided to do guys I currently have still. Offensive line was a revolving door. Wide receiver was kind of a revolving door too. I mean, we started off with Sterling and Golden and Russell, and then we ended up with Keenan, and then we ended up with Downing, and then we ended up with Graves. So, we had a lot of wide receivers. We had Devontae Parker one time. I mean, we had a shitload of wide receivers going through, and it was just, there really wasn't another person I could make stats on offense besides those 4. Alright, sorry, I had to make a quick cut. My puppy was chewing on something that she wasn't supposed to be. So, moving on to the defensive side, we have quite a bit of players. I mean, my defense as a whole, they really were, a lot of them were there, though, every year, every season. We really didn't have to have many new defenders. We have Jabril Peppers up on the list here. First off, he had 486 tackles, 46 tackles for a loss, and 59 interceptions. Just a shitload of interceptions there for Jabril. Led our team in interceptions on the season by far. I couldn't get forced fumbles because I didn't show forced fumbles in all my videos and my recaps. So I couldn't show you, but I know Jabril has a shitload of forced fumbles as well. That's something I'll have to look forward to, and next Madden, make sure I show the forced fumbles so I can get that stat at the end of the season. And I don't have sacks for him just because he didn't really get too many, so it wasn't really worth figuring all that out. Next, I have DeAndre Baker. He had 391 tackles on the season, 49 interceptions, and 94 pass deflections. That's a shitload of pass deflections for my boy DeAndre. Got him all the way up to an 88 overall. It's crazy to see how high overalls these guys are, because they started off all like 70s and 60s, and here they are. I kept them, stuck with them, just grinded them out, and here they are, just absolute monsters. A corner that pretty much people forgot about was Grant Haley. This dude is really just underrated. I mean, 79 overall star for us, and sat in the slot spot the whole entire 6 seasons. Never left the slot for us. Never had to worry about the slot. He was our guy. We had him. He was cheap. Had him for 6 seasons. So I definitely wanted to highlight him this season, today. 390, or no, not him. Wrong person. 335 tackles for Haley, 16 interceptions, and 50 pass deflections. Just a great slot corner. I mean, we did not have to worry about the slot spot at all, ever. I mean, he played there day one and stayed there for the 6 seasons, so I definitely wanted to highlight him. I could have done one on Newell, but I didn't have much data, and I was like, we already have a shitload of defensive players to talk about, so I skipped Newell because we didn't have him year one. Joe Hayden came in year 2, so we had a couple different corners, here and there before we had Newell, so I decided not to go with him. Ben Ham, I definitely wanted to highlight him. He led our team in tackles with 523 on the season, and he didn't even play year one. So, I mean, season off from all the other guys and still led the team in tackles. 76 tackles for a loss, 19.5 sacks, and 35 interceptions. Just a force in the middle. I mean, I had to highlight Ben Ham. Dude's a monster. He's been here forever. He's just a staple of our defense at this point. He's just an absolute animal. Moving on to the pass rushers, we have Lorenzo Carter. Lorenzo Carter had 318 tackles, 85 tackles for a loss, and 56 sacks. I would have thought Lorenzo would have led our team in sacks, but apparently he doesn't. Apparently he does not. Next outside linebacker, we got X-Man. He had 166 tackles, 37 tackles for loss, and 44 sacks. My puppies wanting me to pet her. But yeah, X-Man, he actually got sat, if you guys remember, way long ago, year 2, he was on the bench. So he actually did not play because we used our upgrade on Marcus Golden to play him. So X-Man didn't play for that whole season 2, or he maybe played very little. He didn't really play much though, so that's probably why his stats aren't up there compared with like guys like Lorenzo and all that. Which sucks because I think I should have stuck with him and he would have developed a lot nicer. Moving on to the 3 beasts on the D-line here, we got Dexter Lawrence. Dexter led our team in sacks. I think he also... Oh, no, he didn't lead. Lorenzo led in tackles for loss, but Dexter had 248 tackles, 71 tackles for loss, and 69.5 sacks. Dude was a sack machine. Absolute sack machine. Was a rookie when we first started, turned into a god, all the way up to an 89 overall. Just an absolute monster. I wish we could have got one of these guys to X Factor. Sucks we couldn't, because I think our defense would have been so much better if we had an X Factor on the line. But it is what it is. We rocked out. We had one X Factor the whole season on defense and got the job done. Got a Super Bowl. So, it is what it is. The big boy in the middle, big old Dalvin, got him up to an 89 as well. He had 222 tackles, 57 tackles for loss, and 48.5 sacks. So, a beast in the middle. I mean, Dalvin, like I said, never really had to worry about him. Just plopped the big old boy in the middle, and he got the job done. B.J. Hill on the other side had 218 tackles, 46 tackles for loss, and 61.5 sacks. So, between the two on the season, around 130 sacks on the season, just between BJ, or not the season, the career, our series, between BJ and Dexter, which is amazing. I mean, it's so good. And I don't have the stats on Jason, Marcus Rich, and Newell, but just a couple guys that panned out, draft picks that panned out really well. Newell played great. Jason had 2 picks in the Super Bowl. Marcus Rich, he does drop problems at times, but an absolute monster. Our offensive line Will's been here forever. We got Will all the way up to an 85 overall, which isn't that bad. A lot of these are draft picks, guys, but Kaufman having the game of his life in the MSC Championship with that massive catch, and then another really good game in the Super Bowl. It's going to be sad to see the team go. I mean, it definitely is going to be a little sad because we've been doing this for damn near a year with the Giants, just grinding out, trying to get to the damn Super Bowl, and we finally did. And the next episode you'll see with the Giants will just be like the montages, like I talked about, and then probably in a week or 2 I'm going to be making a video with what team I'm going to be using in this league next Madden. It's in the AFC. You can go ahead and leave a comment and try to guess who it is, but it is in the AFC. We're switching over in this league. We're NFC this season, going over to the AFC, and I'm just going to give you a little info here. If you thought the NFC was stacked this season with, me, Kane, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Bears, the Lions, I mean, whatever you want to fucking name it, the Rams when he was here, I don't even think I said Trey yet. I mean, the NFC was just crazy. There was crazy talent here. The AFC might just be better than the NFC. There's quite a bit of talent switching over to the AFC, so the AFC might just be better next season. So we got that to look forward to. But I'm very excited for Madden 21. Make sure to stay tuned for that Madden 21 video where I talk about who I'm going to use and get things set up for the Madden 21 series. And then make sure to keep watching the Pandora League. I mean, that's still going. We're wrapping up that season, and then we'll be just on the Madden 21. Thank you for all the support I got on this series. I mean, this is probably the best Madden series, maybe not views-wise, I've had in Madden, but by far the most fun. By far the most fun and most entertaining series I've ever made. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm glad I got a Super Bowl win. My puppy's barking. I gotta get out of here. Hopefully you guys are ready for Madden 21, and I'll see you guys then.